Welcome everybody to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast, and in this video we're going to give you our reviews for the newly released The Marvels. So go check it out in theaters. It wasn't as bad as a lot of you guys are saying, to be honest. I don't think it warrants the hate thus far, but we're gonna get right into it. Full spoilers ahead. Without further ado, Dylan, why don't you start us off?
It was marvelous. No, I'm kidding. It wasn't like a memorable movie to me, but nonetheless, I think it was pretty good. Yeah, I think it subverted my expectations. Actually, I think the action scenes, to be honest, were actually pretty good. Sometimes inconsistent when they did the like power swap thing.
Sure.
But I think it was still cool. Yeah, it's actually nice seeing these characters get together. I'm not gonna lie. I think Brie, Iman, and Teyonah have like a really nice like sisterly chemistry on screen. I think it's like really believable. And it's kind of like rewarding for us because like we've watched like all their shows and like movies so far. So like to see them like kind of come together. It's nice like when like different characters from the MCU kind of like have like a crossover event. So it is kind of nice. But what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's the shortest movie, I think, for the MCU in a while. And I think that's good. That's a good thing. This movie felt like you could just kick back and relax and just have a lot of fun with it. There were a lot of moments actually where you had to really suspend your disbelief, but it's a superhero movie at the end of the day. So there's some, of course, that's to be expected. For the most part, I do think the cast was pretty strong, and I think that no one really outshined each other. They all seem like on the same level. Of course, Carol Danvers is supposedly the lead, and she does have her moments. Are they redeemable? A lot of people had critiques about Captain Marvel. I wasn't in that bandwagon where I was like fully hating Brie Larson all the time. I actually didn't mind her too much in Captain Marvel. Like I got what they were going for, and the same goes for like I think what was she in Endgame? I think she was fine. So this movie definitely it's more lighthearted. I think she had a lot more chances to show her acting prowess in certain moments, and I think she really pulls off the comedic moments well. And again, they have like a great chemistry. Let me ask you about the main villain, because Marvel, you know, there's always like this thing like who's the best main villain. What did you think of Dar-Ben as the main villain?
Yeah, Zawe Ashton her character was short-lived, but I think she actually gave a good performance. I liked her actually more than Ronan the Accuser.
Sure.
I think her character like ambitions were actually pretty believable, because I feel like Ronan in Guardians of the Galaxy was like, oh, I just want power. But like here it's like actually like Dar-Ben was like, oh, I actually like want to avenge my people. So it was kind of believable. Like I said, she was like kind of short-lived. I would have liked to see more of her. Also, can we like, I feel like the Kree are like so inconsistently like cast. Like, are they all blue? Or
are you being
like,
specious, Dylan?
I am being specious. I need to answer these questions because like some of them look like humanoid, and then some of them are like blue. I'm like, can we like define the Kree a little bit more?
Well, listen, Yay 24 is around the corner, so when that comes,
now I know I heard it. Though.
Yeah,
but yeah, she wasn't bad. Let me actually how you felt about Nick Fury in this movie, especially after we reviewed Secret Invasion.
Bro, that gave me bipolar, because he was so like they were trying to go for a really serious thing in Secret Invasion, and I forgot if this movie takes place before Secret Invasion or after.
Yeah, where's the fucking bitch he was dating?
Forget about that. Forget about Secret Invasion. Then
she fucking dating him for the insurance policy. That's so
listen, Talos is like this. and Nick Fury like
that girl he was with, she got what she needed, and she broomed him fast.
For sure. He was having a blast in this movie. It was like Maria Hill was not in his conscience. He was
he was one and done. Shit. Maria was a dime a dozen. Shit.
He was funny in this. He was really funny. We do see S.A.B.E.R, the headquarters, a little bit, and it was pretty a small part of S.A.B.E.R, surprisingly. But I think they worked with the space, and I think Nick Fury had a lot of comedic moments, especially with the cats. There's like a couple of cats as well. We've seen that from the trailer. So for the most part, it's okay. And he did interact a lot with Kamala's parents, and I think that it led to a lot of comedic moments because the identities kind of clash, and it's really actually amusing to see.
Yeah. He definitely felt comedic in this movie more than previous iteration.
Yeah, he was
I don't
just
know.
sad before.
Yeah. It's like if you gave Bernie Mac an eye patch, and that's Nick Fury. In
Like,
this
he
movie.
literally said the
Shit.
line, it's like taking off a tight pair of shoes at the end of the day. He lost his wife, his friend,
Shit.
his partner. He was like, I
Motherfucker
feel
cold,
good.
I guess.
Yeah, and also what happened with what's her name, Gaia? I wish she kind of showed up here.
Well, she was with that British lady at the end. I guess.
Oh, right. True.
So
true,
she's
true,
doing
true.
her own. But yeah, he probably forgot about her too. He was like, "Fuck." It's like,
Yeah, I mean, this movie did feel. We were talking earlier before recording, and we were talking about the movie Shazam, and it does feel like it's its own thing. It doesn't really give much reference to the whole of the MCU. A little bit later on in the end credit, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. That was like huge, but for the most part, it felt like its own thing, and I appreciated it. I remember originally this movie was apparently, this was leaked a long time ago, it was supposed to be a musical. Thankfully, it's not. It would have been so annoying if it was, dude.
especially because Akram hates musicals.
I hate musicals, and I couldn't stand. Like, every part of this movie felt so annoying before I actually went to see it, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is actually a nice surprise." What did you think of Prince Yan? Like that whole scene, I actually thought it was fine, but I'm sure
I
a lot
thought
of
that
people-
was McKenny from One Piece.
From One Piece.
Yeah, because it looks just like him. But
Yeah,
no, he
yeah.
was fine. Yeah, I can see why people were like saying that. Like, I mean that scene was kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie with the whole sing-songy shit. But it's something we've never seen before in Marvel. I know Marvel tends to take liberties sometimes with like comedic moments. Sometimes I feel like they'll like. I don't know. They have like SNL writers like writing the jokes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't know. It's like really cringy.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, it was okay. I mean, they like I said, they balanced it with like a lot of cool action scenes. I like actually when they're all fighting at the same. Actually, the fight where they were like fighting between like Kamala's house and the
That was
spaceship.
cool.
I thought that was like really well done.
Yeah, that was one of the moments where, well, with the second thing, yeah, they knew like the timing, like not to extend this could be too annoying, and they definitely took their time with the first fight, switching around, and they were like super disoriented and didn't know what to do. Because let me tell you something, the two guys they were fighting, they lasted with those guys so long. They need that guy to be both of them be the main villains.
Those motherfuckers could fight Shang-Chi and last like 3
Yeah.
rounds or some shit.
That's their ability, is just getting beat up, because
Shit.
let me tell you, they have endurance. That like the choreography, it's an interesting play, and I also think it's really symbolic too, because at the end of the day, it's kind of like the sisterhood that they will eventually have with each other, and it's as if like there was some talk of the past too, of that memory thing, and I kind of find it symbolic that they kept on switching places, as if like switching shoes and stuff like that. I wish they kind of breathed in that moment a little bit more, but I understand there's a lot of comedic stuff here, and I really felt like this movie knew its place, and it didn't take too much of people's times, and I appreciated that. I think that's why this movie honestly isn't as bad as people are trying to project. I don't think it's really warranted. I don't think this movie has any agenda whatsoever. I think it's just a great movie to why I wouldn't even like say like, oh, strong female, whatever. It's just like it's a great superhero movie. Just have fun with it, and I think a lot of people will be delightfully pleased, especially with that end credit. That end credit was pretty cool.
I have to agree. With those points for sure. I think it was very entertaining and it didn't go too slow. I think it just picked up with every scene, and I just like watched it through and through. Even like the scenes where like they're like talking the dialogue, it actually like felt like they were actually like a team, and they actually were like making plans and stuff. So that was cool. They spent a few moments like recapping a lot of stuff with the characters. I get it, because like some people haven't watched the shows. For me, it just like felt a little tedious, because I've watched everything.
Exactly.
That's just me. But yeah, what do you think of Captain Marvel's character in this movie? Because it is kind of based around her and kind of like her consequences of her actions. So that was
a big point. Yeah, and that's what I liked about the villain, because the villain, she had her motivations, although it's like short lived. Still, I think that kind of made her like an all right villain, not a bad villain. I don't think a really memorable villain, but at least they did something here. And yeah, I mean, I love seeing that flashback. We actually do see that AI. We do see it in like comic booky form, like it looked like the actual thing for the comic books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was great. I think her character definitely improved from before. A lot of people said that she was really still faced and stuff like that. For sure, I think she's now like her own superhero. Really, she has like her little headquarters ship thing, which I thought was nice. Her costume, to be honest with you, I wasn't a big fan of both iterations. I'd prefer the first one, to be honest, with the
She
color
looked
scheme.
a lot bulkier in the first iteration. This one was like
It
kind of more
was,
slimmed
yeah.
down a bit.
Yeah, and of course, which is funny because Brie Larson is like famous now for like working out all the time, and so I guess they wanted to really encapsulate her physique. The other one felt really utilitarian, which is kind of weird for Captain Marvel because she doesn't really need to have anything like weapons or anything like that. So I hope they one day can redesign her suit again. But for the most part, I think she was a pretty good character. She was a pretty good character, and I'm glad that at least they had some time in between to have Monica and Carol have conversations here and there, and I really like that because we've been waiting for a long time to get that. You know,
I thought Monica was gonna get like her photon name at the end too, because they kept like teasing it, and like, oh, what should I name you, Professor Brightlight or whatever? Right. I thought they were gonna give her like her photon name, and I was like, oh damn.
Yeah, I know. I'm wondering if that has to tie in with the end credit. I wonder if she'll somehow like acquire that name eventually. She was great too. I liked her costume. You said you were like on the fence about Monica's costume.
Her costume was okay. I think Captain Marvel and Miss
Marvel's was trash. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't like it. It was like too like cosplay.
First one was better. Yeah, but like that's what happens when you over design. And
she didn't even have her like iconic mask or anything. I was like,
yeah, I was kind of disappointed with that. And the bangle thing too, we do see at the end. So it seems, which I think that's a nice way to tie these characters together. We do see Carol Danvers wearing the bangle to keep it safe, and we see also Miss Marvel. I wonder if they could actually teleport now to each other or something. I think that would be cool. I'd love to see like another team up with these characters, to be honest. I'd love to see, and I do like to see the little banter between those. I think it was like really fun. Yeah, they're great.
Well, we've talked about the movie. Let's get to the juicy parts, because I think the end credits scene is definitely going to tie into bigger events in the MCU. So what did you think about the end credits scene?
Yeah, so we just came off reviewing Loki. I'm not going to spoil that, so you guys can watch Loki, but you can, after you watch that, check out our season 2 review and also our episode 8 review, because I think I have some questions. Oh, I keep saying 8. Sorry. Yeah, episode 6. I do have some questions. It wasn't really like a Loki-esque type of ending. It reminded me more of like a Multiverse of Madness type ending, because the thing is, we do get Monica wakes up and she's met by her supposedly dead mother. She's alive. Who is this lady, I wonder? And then all of a sudden, Beast from X-Men shows up. The CGI wasn't that good, to be honest, but he shows up, and apparently Monica's mom is, instead of being Captain Marvel like Multiverse of Madness, she is, I guess, Photon, and that threw me aback. That was pretty cool. I had no idea what the hell was going on, and I don't know if it was for shock value's sake. One criticism I do have is like, please introduce the X-Men in the MCU. Don't keep them like in a different timeline, please. But yeah, so what are your thoughts on that?
For sure, I thought it was either going to tie into Kang or tie into X-Men, because I know they've been teasing X-Men for a long time. And yeah, we were supposed to get the mutant thing in Miss Marvel too. We never got that confirmed.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, and Beast, that didn't look to me like the same actor from the original X-Men, so it was kind of weird. So unless this is a different reality where the X-Men exist, which would be kind of weird, because if you're going to bring in supposedly Hugh Jackman from for Secret Wars, like why not just have like one of the original cast from, because you already brought in Professor X in a Multiverse of Madness. Why wouldn't you bring in like Storm or somebody, like, or like the original Beast? Like why wouldn't you bring that character in? So it was a little weird, but I wonder like how it ties in. I guess like Monica would be, I guess, the bridge now for, crossover. Well, I mean, so I guess like for Spider-Man, it makes sense that Tom Holland would bridge Tobey and Andrew. So I guess Monica now would bring in the X-Men. I don't know.
But that's just like, well, maybe she has, I don't know, she has like new powers, or like she can have the ability to overcharge and open up rifts in space-time to a different reality. I just don't like this overcomplication of things. I know for sure we're going to have Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, and we talked about before, there's a leak saying that Hugh Jackman and Tobey Maguire apparently will lead that. I don't know. I felt like this end credit was, well, it was great to see Beast, but it I think the point of having end credits is to bring in more questions and also like a welcome surprise and get you excited. But I'm really fatigued with having all these great characters not in one singular Earth, and that just bothers me. So I don't know. It just felt like something that was just thrown in there. But again, that's not a critique on the movie. That's just like what's gonna happen now. That's maybe more of a critique on the direction the MCU maybe will take with this little tease.
It was probably,
I don't
in my
know.
opinion, like how they did it for the Venom end credit. It was just
Yeah.
like, hey, pay attention to me, and then like it'll pay off later somehow. I don't know.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
probably just like almost like a clickbait, like, hey, pay attention to me or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, any final thoughts you had on the movie and your rating?
I think for sure, if you guys are curious and you checked out our video to see if the movie's ass or not, I definitely don't think it was ass. I think you should go to the movies if you haven't seen it yet. Hopefully, you guys kind of agree with our opinions on it. I don't think the hate's really warranted. And again, I think it's just a movie just to go see this movie and don't take it so serious because it really is not a bad movie, to be honest. And in a way, it's kind of refreshing. We had movies like Eternals, which just felt like really overbearing. I was like, oh, I'm tired of it. You know, this is one of those movies that it kind of cleanses the palate. And especially after seeing Loki, that was so heavy with its tones and what its outcome is, I think this is like a nice refresher. What's that saying with like beer or alcohol? What is that? It's like a little
Dilutes it.
or no, exciter or some shit like that, where like people
Something,
like,
I don't know.
yeah, it's like that smelling salts before you're about to like lift away, like like that. It's not bad. I think it's a pretty fun movie, and I definitely think more people should check it out. So if I were to rate this movie, I think I'd give it like a solid 8 out of 10. What would you rate it? And what are your final thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. I thought it was very entertaining. I agree with all your points. I thought for sure it didn't feel, actually, like I said, subverted my expectation. I thought it would probably be tacky, but it was pretty funny as well as action packed. Actually, this is probably like one of the better movies I would say of this phase so far, because I feel like they've been pretty lackluster. Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens with the Young Avengers. I'm sorry, because we got
that was that
Kate Bishop at the end, so it looks like a setup for Young Avengers now. Also, it was kind of cool seeing Valkyrie in this movie too. I don't know.
Yeah, that was cool. That was
a nice
cool.
tie-in. But yeah, overall, I'd probably give it a 8 out of 10.
Okay, awesome. Well, you heard it here. If you guys disagree, let us know in the comments below. Give us your thoughts on, well, exactly what you thought of the movie. And check out our other playlists. Again, we just wrapped up Loki Season 2, so check out our reviews for that. So Dylan, take us away.
Yeah, thank you guys for sticking around. Let us know what you thought of the movie, and check out our other content. We do plenty of Marvel stuff, also DC, Star Wars, plenty of other network stuff. But we appreciate you guys. Sub to the channel if you enjoy our content. Leave a like down below. But until then, thanks for having lunch with us.
Remember, higher, firster, faster, dicker, baby.